The message that Alice Walker wanted to convey to her readers was the importance of speaking up, the importance of talking, and the value that talking and writing has in liberating an individual. So your summative assessment or your final project is about identifying an issue, confronting it, and liberating it, or you, and sharing your voice. Now, the issue that you choose to speak about can be something that is very personal to you, or it can be something that you're just passionate about. You can approach this task from many directions. So you do have freedom and liberty as to how you would like to complete this task and how you would like to express your voice. So the questions that you need to think about when you are deciding how you would like to complete this project is, how do you find your voice, you personally? What will you use your voice for? How will you use it? And what characteristics of your voice do you want people to hear? So scrolling down to the overview, Walker uses her voice to speak out against the injustices that women, especially Black women, must endure at the hand of society. She specifically speaks upon sexual and domestic abuse, and hoping that through her characters, her audience will also become resilient and triumphant and awakened to the realities of what these women were going through. And hopefully the text speaks to the audience. So your task is to do the same thing, is to find your own voice and raise it. So you could do this through writing a speech to a mass audience. You could write in a letter to a specific oppressor. This could be personal. This doesn't need to be shared with a mass audience like a speech might. You could write a letter to a specific person. You could write a letter to a specific oppression. You could, just like Celie did, and just like the color purple is set up, Celie writes to God because that's who she is able to talk to. Or you could write a poem or song like Beyonce's Freedom. So again, your task is to identify an issue that must be addressed, confront the reality of that issue, and liberate yourself or the world by exposing the truth. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to provide you with some topics, and then I'm also going to provide you with a brainstorming kind of rough draft outline that you can use. So here we have some topics that might be of interest, but you are by no means limited to these. Women's rights, Black Lives Matter, immigration policy and equality, equality in the schools or desegregation, LGBTQ rights, climate change, domestic abuse. These are all great topics, but if you have another idea, definitely talk to your teacher about it. I'm sure it will be fine. So now what I'm going to share is a graphic organizer that hopefully your teachers will provide. So first answer, what is a topic that you feel passionately about and want to speak upon? What is it about this topic that you want your audience to learn or know? So it could be that you want your audience to change something massive, or it might be just you want your audience to know something about you. Describe your voice. How do you want to sound to your audience? So think about the various videos you've watched, speeches, songs. Each person had a different message, and the tone of their message, how their voice sounded, was drastically different. So you may want your voice to sound aggressive. You might want to sound uplifting. You might want to sound fed up. You can convey your your voice and your objective in various ways, but how do you think your voice will be most effectively heard? So in a good persuasive argument, whether it's through a letter, a speech, or a song or poem, you use logos, pathos, and ethos. Just to refresh, logos is the logical argument. Pathos is the argument that shows that you are passionate, the audience feels sympathetic, and ethos is convincing your audience that you are a trustworthy person to listen to, that you're a reliable source of information. So as you're brainstorming, you got to make sure that you include every one of these forms of rhetoric. If you only have one or two, your argument might be weak. So in these boxes, I want you to put down how you are going to incorporate logos, pathos, and ethos in your final assessment, however you're going to go about doing it. For logos, there's a link right here. You can click this link and it will take you to the database the school provides called Opposing Viewpoints. If you are going to use logos, which is logic, you need to provide at least 2 pieces of reliable evidence to support the side that you're on. To get into here from home, once you click this link, it will need a password and it will be SYRSLS. Once you're in this database, just search your topic. There's so much good stuff there that can help you with your argument. Make sure to use quotation marks and cite your source. And you can put your evidence right here. And then answer these bullets for pathos as well as for ethos. Once you've done all this, once you've answered all these questions, it should be clear which pathway will be the most effective way to liberate your voice. So you're going to pick one, either by writing a speech, a letter, or a poem or song. I'm not going to control any way that you do this. You pick what is most comfortable for you. But just as an example or some guidance, if this is something that is very personal to you and you are a credible source, maybe because you are quite literally liberating your own voice on something that you've been oppressed with or something that has affected you deeply, maybe you don't want to share it with a mass audience yet. Maybe you just want to write a letter. Because remember, for Celie, she didn't have a voice, so she started writing in a diary. When she truly gained her voice is when she was able to communicate and have that two-way communication between, say, Sophia and her sister, when her sister actually wrote her back. So the letter may not be going out to the general public, but that intimate dialogue can be just as powerful at liberating your voice. So, and here, these links are examples of what we have reviewed in class. If you still are not sure which form you would like to begin working with. So here's an example of a speech. Here's an example of how a letter can liberate. And here is an example of a song or poem, and it's Beyonce's Freedom. So please feel free to go back to these if you're still unsure of how you would like to complete this task. If you have any questions, please let your teacher know. And good luck. Take your time with this. This is creative. You have choice. And what matters here is your voice. Making sure that you are heard. Even if it's just saying it out loud for you yourself to hear it.